Hey everybody, it's good to see you again, or not see you as it were. My name is Kyle Snavely. If you don't know me, I run kdevops.com. I'm a software engineer, outdoorsman, and I want to get some more videos rolling on my YouTube channel. I did a few in the past, but it was really difficult with the camera gear I had at the time, and of course it's always difficult to find time to record. But I wanted to throw a little something out there about the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 years of my life, and then hopefully have some more content flowing in the future. Okay, so first off, I think the last time we spoke, I lived in North Carolina. That's changed. We moved to New York, my wife and I, and now we live in Utah. So that was pretty interesting. I think that's really a theme for today's video. I'll kind of walk you through chronologically, what was going on. And I think we'll save the technology update for another video. I mean, obviously it's been, years of professional software engineering work, and it just takes a little bit more prep to talk about that, adequately. So catch that in the next video. So to start with, what about North Carolina? Well, I like to reflect back on it with, largely positive experiences. I don't miss pollen season at all, but geez, down in North Carolina was where I really started to get back into fishing. And I had some good friends down there from grad school, so it was really difficult to leave. And you might remember from the Workbench video, our brown dachshund Dobson. Unfortunately, he passed away, and that was very sad. But we have a new little member of our family, Baron. Picked him up in North Carolina, and we love him very much. But Emily got a job up in New York, doing some public health, microbiology research, that sort of thing. And I'm remote, being a software engineer. So we headed up there and lived in Troy, New York for a while. Now, when I think about New York, again, it was mostly good. In fact, I would like to say that living upstate near Albany was pretty great. I mean, cost of living's good, there was pretty good restaurants around, and there was a nice trifecta of kind of outdoors activities. You had the Catskills, the Taconics, and the Adirondacks, and geez, I spent a ton of time hiking, fishing, hunting in New York. I mean, it was just a blast. Some of the stuff I don't miss, though, would be some of the bureaucracy. Working with the DMV there was totally a pain. The road quality was really bad, and I was still riding motorcycles a lot. I actually rode my motorcycle from North Carolina to New York, which was like a once-in-a-lifetime trip. It was awesome. Maybe we'll talk about that specifically another time. But the roads around Albany were so bad, I mean, I honestly just lost the desire to ride. It's really sad, actually, because I used to ride for 5, 6, 7 years all the time, but really it calmed down, and I really don't ride too much these days. So what else? I started hunting in North Carolina, and that was a lot of fun. I know it's a controversial subject, but let me tell you, it's a cornerstone part of American wildlife conservation, and it is an amazing outdoors experience. In New York, I was finally successful, harvested a spike white-tailed deer, and you better believe we ate him up over the next year. It was awesome, and I'm really thankful for that memory in New York. So our time in New York came to an end when my wife wrapped up her fellowship, and she got her next position in Salt Lake City, Utah, so that's where we are now. And I have to say, I'm really loving Utah. I spent the past year and change just camping and hiking and fishing my heart out. I decided not to hunt yet. There's so much Utah here that to scout, it really deserves its own time. Like getting to know the landscape, getting to know the regions, and figure out what you want to do. So that's on hold for now. But let's see, so for camping, the amazing thing is the variety of terrain in Utah. So I spent a ton of time in the desert, a ton of desert winter camping down to the teens. Got my gear in order, and that's really become kind of my favorite camping is cold weather. If you get down to 30 degrees, that's perfect for me. I hate being hot and sticky and sweaty out at camp. But we did, camp all year long, went up into the mountains, the Uintas, and it's just fabulous up there. And we went camping in, I think, July, and got caught in a snowstorm in the Duchesne River Valley. I mean, it's just amazing. I've been doing a lot of fishing in Utah as well, fly fishing mostly. I hit the Uintas usually again. The Duchesne River is just excellent. Did some camping up the river, just awesome. The Uinta River is I think it's a little prettier in my opinion. It's more remote, it feels more wild, but it's a little too remote for me right now in the middle of coronavirus. So, maybe next year I'll make another trip up to the Uinta River. I almost forgot, I started ice fishing in Utah, which was really bizarre because I've never done that before, but it just looked so fascinating and so interesting to me in a way to extend your fishing season, which is like something that every fish person wants. The gear investment was a little bit, like you need all these specialized rods and the tackle you get is just slightly different from what you might use in other scenarios. And do you get a shanty or not? You got to get a sled. And got to get nice waterproof gear. So that was a bit of a hassle. But I think I went ice fishing probably, I don't know, like somewhere between 6 to 10 times this season. I'm really being quite cautious about it. But geez, it was awesome. So I went a couple times without a shanty, and that was just fine. But it was difficult to kind of endure the elements for that long. I mean, it could be like blinding sun, wind, cold, wet. It got a little difficult. Did pick up a cheap shanty. I can't remember which one. It's some Eskimo, 3 or 4 person. It's just big enough for my wife and I and some gear and a heater. And that is actually pretty great. The only thing is it really restricts your ability to move around, which is tough. But if you just want to sit back, crack a beer, and fish for some trout, boy, it is awesome. Highly recommend ice fishing. Of course, here in Utah, along with the rest of the damn planet, we've been dealing with coronavirus. It has been very challenging. I think my wife and I are lucky that we are like very healthy and independent people, and I already worked from home all the time and have no social life. So, of course, we were affected by it, but I imagine there are, people who are not used to being locked in their home all week long that are really struggling. That has been quite tough. So I'll just say good luck to everybody out there, and please stay safe. But I do want to finish on a high note, so I'll share some awesome news with you. In somewhere between 1 hour to 4 weeks, I will be a new dad. So Emily's pregnant now. She's 36 weeks and change along, and that has been absolutely mind-blowing experience, I think, for both of us, but definitely for me, and I am so excited to meet my baby daughter. It is ridiculous. And it's just been a lot of fun, although now we're far enough along. It's just kind of a waiting game. I haven't felt like the panic set in or anything like that. I think Emily and I are like fairly well prepared mentally. We know it's going to be hugely challenging and exhausting, etc. But we kind of accept that, and we're just like ready to face that challenge. So that's super exciting. I think that really wraps it up though, so I'll say thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.